Hello, boys and girls. Today, Katherine is going to make a carrot cake. Okay, so first we'll look at our utensils. I have a big bowl, I have a small bowl for beating eggs, I have my measuring cups, my measuring spoons, a rolling pin and a plastic bag for doing the walnuts, a pastry brush for doing my tin, wooden spoon for mixing, a peeler for the carrots, a scissors for cutting the greaseproof paper. I have greaseproof paper for lining my tin. I have a knife. What else have I? I have a sieve for sieving my flour, my chopping board, and my big bowl, and my grater for grating the carrot. Okay, so I think that's everything that we need. Then the ingredient side, we have sugar. We're going to use a cup of sugar. We have plain flour. We're going to use a cup of plain flour. I'm going to use some salt, some cloves, some cinnamon, some mixed spice for flavoring, some bread soda for rising our cake, some crushed walnuts for flavor, 2 eggs, and some rapeseed oil and some grated carrot. Okay, so we have a loaf tin, and I've just turned on my oven to 180 degrees. Okay, so that's the oven on to 180 degrees, and now we're going to get our tin ready. So we're going to put a tiny bit of oil into it, and with my pastry brush, we'll brush it into the corners everywhere. Okay, and now I'm going to get the greaseproof paper, and I'm just going to get one piece to line it down the sides and up. I'm not going to bother about the ends. It's just really to help you to get the cake out of the tin. So just the length of the tin, you can see there, I'm just guessing. It's about this. Right, so you can guess, then you can put it down one side. So I think it's just about that. So I'll have enough, probably have enough for the next time. So you can see, just going to push it into place like that. And it doesn't matter if it's a bit crinkled, it'll work just fine into the corners like that, okay? And to be sure, there's still oil on your brush. You can just brush the end of it a bit. Okay, so that's the tin ready there on the side, okay? So next we're going to get our big bowl, and into our big bowl we're going to put a cup of sugar, and I have it here in a bowl to make it easy. Okay, and we just shake it off and make sure it's level, and you put that into your bowl. Then we're going to measure a cup of flour, and I have it put into a bowl to make it easy as well. So I'm going to use the back of my knife, and now I have a nice flat. I'm going to use my sieve, and I'm going to sieve that flour in. Okay, so when you're putting it, lift it up and make sure it's not going to spill around, and you're going to get nice air into it. So now we're going to add some flavorings, and when you have a carrot cake, you've carrot cake and you've carrot and you've bread soda, which can be a bit gassy, so there's always salt in it to counteract it. So about a half teaspoon of salt, so it's a good few twists if you have a salt cellar like this, or you can measure it, okay? So that's a half teaspoon of salt, okay? So I'm also going to put in a half teaspoon of mixed spice. And you can see I'm taking off the tops because it's just easier to get at it. And just shake it like that. Half teaspoon of mixed spice. A half teaspoon of cinnamon. I love the smell of cinnamon. Half teaspoon of cinnamon. And these are the spices. They're going to give a nice flavour to your carrot cake. And a half teaspoon of ground cloves. And these are, you can see how dark that looks. Okay, so then we're going to put in a teaspoon of bread soda. Now, you remember when we're using bread soda, we always have to squeeze out the lumps. So there's my half teaspoon of bread soda, and I'm going to put it into the palm of my hand like that, and I'm going to make sure to squeeze out all the lumps and put it into my cake. We can give that a mix there with your wooden spoon, okay? So there are your dry ingredients. So we're now going to put in 3/4 of a cup of rapeseed oil, okay? This is my rapeseed oil, and 3/4 of a cup means a half a cup and a quarter together. You have 2/4 in the half and 1/4 here. That gives you 3/4, okay? So we're going to measure that now. Fill up the half cup, and I'm going to put it into the center, into the well in my bowl. And fill it up to the top and do it over the bowl, because if you have a little spill, it'll go into the bowl. Okay, just drain it, because oil takes a minute or two to come out, or a few seconds, I suppose I should say. And fill up your 1/4 cup now as well of your rapeseed oil, and that goes into the middle as well. Okay, so that's that. Into that we're going to add 2 eggs. So I'll use one of my small bowls, a little bit of something in that. I'll use one of my small bowls to beat my eggs. So remember, pull apart, we don't squeeze. Pull apart again, gently, gently. I'm barely holding it. Just pull apart and allow it to fall. Don't squeeze. Use your fork then to beat it. Okay, so that, I'll use my spatula just to put that in, and you'll see I'm not mixing anything for the moment. I'm just putting it all into the center like that. Okay, so that's my eggs. Next, we're going to get ready our walnuts. So I want to use a half a cup of walnuts. So I'm going to put them in here into my half cup. And I had the amount ready, and I'm going to put them into a plastic bag, any kind of a plastic bag like this. Okay, don't seal it up completely. You want the air to be able to come out. All right, so, and then you can gently crush them with your rolling pin. You can do this with chocolate or any kind of nuts or something that you want to break up for baking, and it keeps everything tidy. You can see it's all nice and broken up. So I'm going to just drop those in as well. Right. So there's a lot of liquid there in the middle. So we're going to start in the center and work from the center out, gathering in your flour from the sides, okay? So just keep on slowly, don't be in any rush. a bit like a pancake batter. That you have your dry ingredients on the outside and your wet ingredients on the center. And nice and slowly work it all in. And you can see that's a nice mix, can't you? A lovely loose mixture. So if you're gluten-free, obviously you're using gluten-free flour. Right, so the next bit is the carrot. So we're going to grate 1.5 cups of carrot, which is about 3 good-sized carrots. So I want 1.5 cups of carrot. I'm going to use that nice small side there because I don't want to meet chunks of carrot in the cake. Careful of your fingers. Right, so that's 2 carrots. So I'm going to get my cup, and note I'm not going to pack it down. I'm just going to gently put it in until it's full. Okay, so that's nearly full. It's not quite there yet. Take your time and mind your fingers. So, right, so there's my 1/2 cup. And I want to put just a little bit more onto the full cup. Okay, so there you have your 1.5 cups of carrot. Just going to put this out of the way. So I'm going to put that into the center again, and we're going to fold it in gently. Oops. This is why we make sure that our kitchen units are clean at all times, so that if something falls, it can be picked up. So now, using my spatula, I'm going to scrape off my wooden spoon, and then we're going to put it into the tin. So do you remember me telling you before, always try and get your bowl as clean as possible. And go slowly. That's because if you start to go fast, that's when you make mistakes. Take your time. You can see that it's nice and liquid. And that will be in the oven for about an hour. We put it on for an hour, and we'll check it then at 180. So you can see how it looks in the tin, all ready to bake. So I get my oven gloves. going to use a tea towel because, okay, and I'm going to put this straight in for an hour at 180 degrees. We'll have a look at it when it comes out, and we might even put a little bit of icing on it.